Wins run the town.
Hello!
Pack it in, boys.
Welcome to Jarviskjir Mother's Love, week 29.
That's a lot of weeks.
We're in pretty. Well, usually
Slap
we
some
would have.
flex tape on it.
Usually we would have like had a season break, but I couldn't be asked. So really, it's like session 7 of Underdark Town series, but whatever. Who cares about that?
Oh, we should have called it Setting Sun.
There is a pun name for Vale's, like, for this being Vale's story, and I don't remember what it is. I think it was Return of the Sun, but Sun would be you. I think that was what it was gonna be.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I like that too.
Yeah, you could have Prodigal Son as well.
Prodigal Son, also pretty good.
Yeah.
It's rife for parody and puns. Just like my lot of beautiful friends here.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hi.
Okay.
I enjoyed that game, by the way.
Very good.
Duck Game is an absolute dedicated banger. But also a dedicated banger is what happened last week. Okay. Let's talk about some real shit, shall we? Last week, you ended up in some serious trouble down here in the usurper elf city of Narashiro by basically doing the old D&D strategy that often comes up of, oh, we'll just pretend that the person they want is dead. Traditional. Works every time, works none of the time. Immediately things started going sour. You were trying to fight your way out, but were severely outnumbered and in very tight corridors. So you did the only logical thing. Riley turned into a T-Rex, and you charged your way out of the cathedral, casting Fly on Riley, flying out of the Drow Cathedral on the back of a T-Rex, which actually got shot down by the Mad Priestess casting a spell in which Vale grew wings for a short period of time, and Riley and Serena managed to fly everyone off and into hiding. And you actually managed to find a little bit of a refuge in a small commune of shadow worshippers that worship Serena's mother. It's not the safest place in the world, but it's safer than being out there. You then spent about a week of time basically just doing reconnaissance. We actually made a couple of friends. One of them being a shopkeeper who's willing to basically sell you stuff on the side. Another being a kind of adventurer, traveler, assassin by the name of Hatoro, who is potentially very useful. Now, when it comes to what you guys are doing today, well, that's really a good question. But let me real quick describe what's been happening in Narashiro. As you've been going around in the last week or so, all of you bought masks and other ways to disguise yourselves. But you have noticed much more tension in the Drow City. Wanted posters with your faces on very much plaster the walls of city streets, especially if you are at any point near a city gate. There is a little bit more military presence in the city, samurai guarding streets and bowmen on the top of the tall buildings that watch out very carefully. There is just a little bit more tension. Among people you would discuss, it's really 50-50 about, you know, who wants these people dead and who doesn't care, and then let's add another 50 of people who are like, yeah, no, we can't trust her. We can't trust a Mad Priestess. So, you know, 53 ways. With all that in mind, what is it you guys actually... Hey, come on. There we are. What is it you guys actually want to do? Last time, you were kind of planning on spending a considerable amount of time in downtime, kind of gaining more information about the world and the current state of things after your failed attempt to take care of one of the warlords, and actually potentially move on to another warlord. So really, the question is, what's the plan? Well, I deal with this frickin' camera. Holy heck.
We're also going to
Ollie's
learn
camera's gone.
Undercommon.
Yeah, that was one.
Yeah,
of the
that's what...
If you center yourself better, it will not autofocus so much.
Yeah, but it's hard to do that with the way it actually captures on Steam.
Fair enough. I just quick tip.
Yeah. You're
I think we wanted to find a item of sorts that could make at least one person speak Undercommon.
You actually did.
Yeah.
There was a belt that you didn't buy.
Because it's very expensive.
Yeah.
It was like 4,000 gold or something, right?
Oh no, it was like 4,000 gold each.
It was I believe it was 12,000 gold
total. Yeah.
total. But also there were rumors of when you were kind of talking with Hator and the kind of general thieving community, another item that could basically allow you to speak any language or understand any language as well. So there's kind of two routes you can go about that kind of thing.
Also,
Right.
Diener, did you put that mask in your inventory?
Shit, I didn't. Thank you. It was a elk
Stag mask,
right?
It was
Stag elk.
Yeah.
It's because Indira wants you to rat her. Wait, what?
It wants me to what?
I'm not repeating it. It's too early. It's not even watershed. I'm sorry. Maybe later. And we were also discussing a change of target, which was...
Yeah, you basically are at a crossroads in your adventure. The question is, what next? You're basically at one of those points where I can't plan shit. So...
We were planning.
Surprise me.
Our idea was probably to go after the artificer rather
Yes.
than.
I would have suggested that as well.
Riley seems unhappy about it, but willing to go with the plan. She's being like moody about it, but she's like, if that's what we're gonna do.
Because Riley wanted to go back and kill the priestess while you had the chance.
While things were hot, yeah.
Yeah.
Respectfully, Riley, your last plan didn't turn out quite so well.
You keep saying my plan. You went with it. That makes it our plan.
Right? But I am not also suggesting we go back and commit.
Riley's last plan saved our life.
Yes, but you do not thank someone for pulling you onto a lifeboat after they put a hole in your ship.
Did I put the hole in the ship? Or did you when you cast your storm?
Even if I could not understand the language, I could understand what was happening in that room. That was
I had them right where I wanted them.
You did not. We were about to be separated. That was
You don't
the
know that.
worst possible outcome.
You don't know that.
Situation.
Maybe less fighting amongst ourselves and more
Yep.
fighting these awful drow.
Gil just looks at Vale and like mouths, "I'm sick of this." Look, Riley, we agreed to it. The plan wasn't the best, but you got us out, so it doesn't matter anyway. We're all here. We're all fine. We just need to decide what's the smartest thing to do now.
Well, it's either lay low or go after one of the other people, I guess.
As we suggested before, the chances of the drow knowing our general targeting is unlikely. So far, we have only targeted things directly to do with the war. We've killed the leader of the war camp and gone after the war shogunate. If we then go for, as discussed, one of the other more supporting aspects, for example, as we discussed, the artificer. It is not directly related to the war, although I'm sure it is related. Don't worry, that was just the taser in my pocket going off. Then we may be able to catch the drow off guard. One thing for certain is the Mad Priestess's cathedral was heavily guarded. Now I should imagine it is more so.
Our best plan, as has been, to reiterate another benefit for changing targets, is that if the cathedral is more heavily guarded, it might draw guards away from other locations. If we hit other locations, it might make them... they might have to spread their guard into more places for fear of not knowing where we will hit next. So...
That's all fair, but how are we going to find out where this artificer is?
The same way where we found out where the other two are. The fundamentals of the information gathering was not incorrect. We found where they were based.
It's just become much more risky, seeing as our faces are plastered on the walls.
It has. It is not something that we should... Certainly not something we should do as a whole group. As loath as I am to say we should split up, it will be less suspicious if we travel in pairs, for instance.
Well, the difficulty is, for the moment, the greatest difficulty is Serena and Gilwyn. A human and a serpent, whatever it is they call you, stand out the most. Riley and I can assume the guise of a drow, and Indira does not look too far off a drow to begin with.
You are quite right. I fear I shall not be much use in this. I do not speak any of the languages they do, and I have even with some limited form of disguise, I stand out a lot.
However, you possess an interesting ability for now, where you do not necessarily have to go out into the streets to gather information. There is a lot of people here who are apparently willing to aid you. If one was to wander the streets and listen to rumors, or if all of them were, you may find that a network of ears would pick up more than what yours alone would.
For basic information, certainly, probably distill it to find locations, at the very least. I mean, they may already know where some of these people are, and what they tend to do. Who knows? It is certainly worth asking them.
Alright, so that's something Serena can do. Which is true, you do have kind of a information network here. If there's anything that cultists to the shadow cult, to Shadowface are willing to do, it's gather information.
I would also say that Serena would, knowing she would like to request that at least one of the other party members goes out and potentially does a little bit of shopping for her, or at least finds information on something. I am guessing that because of the presence of Arachne and Lamia in this city, that it is easier for people with Serena's body type to find armor that would fit them, correct?
Realistically, although it's not like you would...
easy, but it's going to be easier than a surface city.
Absolutely.
So Serena would request that someone basically take some measurements and then ideally go and find a price for, say, a mithril half plate, if that such a thing can be come by.
You can wear half plate?
Not yet, but future plans, and I never know when I'm going to get a better chance. So, and also,
it's mithril.
A shield can be picked up anywhere.
Mithril you can keep in a bag, and
yeah,
it's
exactly.
light enough to
We've
not
got a
really
bag
be
of holding.
problem. Yeah,
such like, so
that's a good idea.
So if someone would be willing to do that,
Sounds like a Gilwyn job.
Yeah.
Except he can't talk the language.
Yeah.
Can travel with someone who can.
Bet it's not a Gilwyn job. It's a Gilwyn and Kerr job.
You have magics.
I can understand them. Doesn't mean I can communicate back.
Which brings us to the next item of our discussion. We currently possess a fair amount of gold.
Yes.
We also possess the knowledge of where to purchase an item that will let another person speak Undercommon. Do we wish to do so?
How much was the item?
12,000 gold.
All of the gold.
Gold.
Sorry, my internet's eating ass because I just had to open up some files because you were asking about mithril armor. Sorry!
Listen, it doesn't need a reason to eat ass.
I like to at least...
2019, Ollie!
on the, the documents, I at least like to have a declaration.
But yeah, if you're...
Fucking kink shame your browser.
If we were splitting the cost evenly, it would be 2,400 gold per person to buy that belt.
I'll chuck the 4,000 at it. I've got 4,878.
What
Would
else
it-
am I going to spend it on?
Would it make more sense to look for the item that could potentially do all languages?
Now, there was some theory that the artificer might have something akin to this.
Oh, well
It's not
then
impossible.
why don't we
Which-
just try to take down the artificer and
In which case, I would suggest we get the cheaper item that lets us
Yeah.
speak undercommon to increase our chances of pulling off successful assassinations, and then looting the living hell out of the artificer's little artificer lab, should we have the opportunity arise.
Assuming it's not booby trapped to hell.
I mean, it would be nice to just be like, she's a reclusive artificer and doesn't like anyone else, and we just get to all of us just wail on one person. Wouldn't that be satisfying?
That's
Just
not
like,
going to happen. I
you
already know
proper-
a little bit
you
about
proper
her
sneak
from
up.
listening to the Sunday stream.
and there's like a Dur Ross or something, but that's
He's
fine.
gonna have little constructs around, like.
No, it's not quite what you're expecting. If what I'm with Sunday stream.
Ian, you're ruining the magic.
If she has a
I
big
won't say
cannon,
anything.
I'm dissatisfied.
The other thing is that Ollie mentioned the belt also gives
It
advantage
also
on
gives.
charisma checks with Drow and has a charisma bonus. Did you say, or was that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, let's say charisma bonus makes more sense.
Yeah, because if a belt like that, if it's giving a charisma bonus anyway, is going to be a useful item even once we finish here. So it's probably worth picking up. Either myself or Gilwyn, that would be useful for.
Agreed.
all right, let's buy it.
I agree.
Agreed.
All right.
Agreed.
Push all your gold together,
Agreed.
minus golds, and you can go out and do
How
that.
much
This-
each?
2,400 each.
Glorious.
I'll pay 3,000.
Aww.
Make this confusing. Okay.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Someone
Ethan was
else
already
say-
trying to be confusing.
That much less.
3,000 for Riley. Who's paying what then?
Split the rest evenly.
Split the rest evenly. Okay, so 9,000 between four is
An awkward number.
2,000.
2,250. Yeah.
Lovely.
What a great number.
Minus
Okay.
2,000.
Once you've minused all of that, this is not something that requires really, it's like a day of someone's time, I imagine, Vale, to go down to this place. You go to like a semi-mysterious magic shop deep into the city, You had to ask and send a lot of feelers out to find it, but you know where it is, and you have the money, and you can transact it, and you can get this belt. The belt is almost more of a sash, actually. There's actually kind of parallels to what Vale wears. It's this... There is a leather belt, but on top of it is this fine kind of dark purplish velvet material that kind of drapes down, and the front face is just sort of a very typical kind of drow face you actually see all over the place. Kind of stoic and a little bit menacing features. And there's minor other details, as you would expect. It's a very, it would be worth a lot of money as just a work of art otherwise. And this requires achievement, so I imagine it is going to Ian.
It probably makes more sense as I can sort of fit the part as a Drow Society member more than Gil. So yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I will let you have the belt, Ian.
Yay!
Give Ian the belt.
So this belt of usurper kind will allow you to
usurper.
speak.
I have a question, Ollie.
Yes.
I am proficient with the disguise kit.
Yes.
Could that be dressing someone else up in a disguise as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
I would want to buy some things, like some clothing and stuff, some simple things, just to make a disguise for potentially me, and enough clothes for even Gilwyn to try to change him up a little bit too.
Yeah, clothes are just in the regular book, so
Yep.
buy as many outfits as you would wish.
He's a basic human, so it's easy to just turn him into a drow.
Yeah. We'll
I
see,
mean,
we'll
not
see if it
really.
allows that.
Get your
Maybe
paint-
I'll
get
on
your
that
paint
point,
You can paint him in blackface. It's not gonna make him look like a drow. It's gonna make
What
him
if I
look
roll
more like a
really
drow.
well?
It's gonna make him look more like a drow in a crowd. It's not like if you did the same thing to Vale or Indira, it would be much more flawless.
Right.
Because elves
walking.
have different facial features and different way of carrying themselves, and even different skin, like suppleness and whatever, and the way the eyes are. Everything's much more different than just makeup will allow. But yes, it would give you...
Okay. I will do that then.
It would be a thing you could do.
I would suggest that when we leave and we're just traveling, that we should do that so anyone who sees us as a group from afar wouldn't have any suspicions.
Agreed.
Yes, yeah. It's a thing. That's absolutely what you can do.
Like, I mean, with a hood up and whatnot, it's a lot less.
Like I said, it's enough to get you through a crowd. In theory.
And 3's a crowd, so permanent crowd bonus, guys.
Also have math.
Yes, exactly. You also have
And we have
masks.
the mass. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So really, that's much more. It's all right. So that takes you more or less a day.
So what exactly does this belt of usurper kind?
Allows you to speak and understand and read and write Undercommon.
Okay.
Allows you a charisma persuasion bonus on speaking to drow, only persuasion.
Okay.
And will also increase your charisma by 2 to a maximum of 20. It cannot go above 20.
Damn it! If that's the case, if it can't go above 20, then I'm sort of tempted to give it to Gil anyway, because I'm at 20 anyway.
I kind of feel like Gil should have it because he's the one with all the
He does have a fat persuasion
negotiation
mod.
power. Yeah.
I mean, I've got a +8 to persuasion as well.
And also, just, he would blend in much more as a drow kept slave who maybe was, like, head of the household if he was speaking fluent Undercommon.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing is that Serena, we can sort of reasonably go like, oh yeah, she's just under a vow of silence. So
Yeah, a slave has to respond when they're spoken.
yeah.
And it also makes sense that a slave would have this item, because a valuable slave, you would give that item because you're not going to spend the time to teach them anything, but you do want them to be able to sell whatever to your clientele. And then when they die, you take it off and put it on the next slave.
Yeah.
Like you said, loaf. Yeah, no, it's an idea. Okay, you can attune to that then. You hear what it give you?
Yes.
Okie dokes. So with that taking a day, what's the plan after this?
I think we need to find out the location of... I got a long cat. Find out the location of...
Tanuma Bieris,
Artificer.
the artificer.
Sounds like a Gilwyn job.
And now, so actually, there would be a really satisfying moment, like the more, because attuning to an item takes your rest, right? It's a little bit of, you are an arcane spellcaster, a little bit of trying to understand the magic of it, plus just kind of growing more used to it. When you wake up in the morning, because you are in this community, you actually wake up. All the Undercommon which you'd hear before, which is just this very fast gibberish language to you, suddenly just clicks in your brain, just like comprehend languages, really.
Yeah.
A bit like that one bit in Simpsons where I was like, oh, I'm speaking French now.
And I can obviously speak it as well with the
You can speak it, read it, write it, and hear it. While you have this, you know everything Undercommon.
Cool.
So if that's what you want, how do you want to go about doing this? Do you want to go out into town? Do you want to take a downtime where it's much like you are spending a week, but you get a much higher chance of finding something by taking that week? Do you want to just go, okay, no, we're doing this information gathering today? Like, what's the plan, team?
I think at least Gilwyn would want to probably take it a little bit slower, just because I am still human. I know I've got the slave sort of angle, but I would rather be cautious.
Yeah,
now.
we need to be cautious at the moment. Plus, if we spend a week, it also gives me a chance to potentially get the armor that I'm looking for, or at least find out.
Yeah, Riley would assist Gilwyn, but also suggest taking the week.
I would likely.
What is that sad werewolf noise?
it's a drill next
That's what I
door.
said.
Oh,
Or
okay.
werewolf or loose fire.
It's a drill next door. It
Both of
does.
those.
It does
really that
sound
audible?
like a sad
I
werewolf.
was 100%
Not just
doing
barely.
the lawn werewolf. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a very.
How's that? Is that better?
Well, who knows? It doesn't matter. Now we've acknowledged it. It can just exist.
I want someone to clip Doxy doing that. I just want to have that.
That's a sub noise.
Drill.
Yeah.
Do a whole Halloween
I
werewolf
disagree.
themed. Downtime. So the way downtime works, you spend your week declaring what you want to do. If you guys want to pair up, that's really smart. That either gives one person advantage, or you can both make the same check. It's really however you want to do it. So with that, information gathering. That is either, you know, an investigation check to go to places of records and stuff like that, or a persuasion check to go to talk around to people. You already have an in as someone that can help you with information gathering with Hator. He is, like, that's one of the things he can do as a roguish type.
I think we would both want to do persuasion. Do you want to do it you advantage, or do you want to do it?
He already,
us both
so
do it?
Gillen will already have advantage if he is helping you gather information.
Yeah, I have a plus 11 mod.
Yeah, I have a plus 10, so it's on you then.
Let's do it.
Oh, you
Okay,
both do
you
it.
two are doing
Oh, wait.
that.
Yeah,
So
you already
before you roll,
Yep.
because you declare what you're doing at the start of the week, that's what those two are doing. We got 3 other boys. So what do you guys want to do? Serena wants someone to go out and get Serena armor. All Serena can do really is bully around the worshippers of the Shadow Empress
Yep.
right now. So they can do something for you, it's just their modifiers are not as good as this lot.
No, of course not. So yeah, she would just be instructing them not to, obviously, to avoid suspicion and danger, but just like hang out in likely areas to hear things that
Yeah.
particularly listening for things about this artificer.
Okay. So you two.
I would probably just spend time with Vale.
Get me armor.
I can't.
We're going to go and find out information about the artificer, and Vale would take Indira to like a pub that he's seen. No, we're here for work. You know, we have to keep an ear out and talk to the right people. But what do you want to
Sure.
drink?
Work?
I think Indira would
Whatever
appreciate.
ale is appropriate for work.
She would appreciate someone not giving up, considering how adamant she is about always trying it on with Gil.
Yeah.
Always.
So, if you all want to do that, that's absolutely fine. It is a persuasion check all around. Gil has advantage.
Here
Sorry,
comes the
cackle
that
just
one.
entered my knee.
Persuasion advantage.
Oh, you're
Yes.
saying now to watch.
Oh, buddy.
That's a slow dice.
That's yeah. The dice on roll 20 have been slow.
They're a little. There's a little chronomancy going on today. Okay.
Yeah.
31.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Look at that.
Oh
Oi,
my God.
you two,
Oh, baby.
team actually elves, give me the same check.
Do you want to give me advantage?
Persuasion?
He's asking, do you want to give him advantage, or do you want to both want to roll separately? Because the way it works is you get enough about you basically get information based on how high you roll.
I think you're less charismatic than me.
Yeah, sure. Sure I am.
I'm doing it. Give me advantage.
Okay.
Oh, please roll.
Like 2
Badly.
ones. It's so dramatic. Okay, those are actually all really good rolls, which makes sense. So, you guys go out into the world. Indira and Vale go off to kind of the pubs. Riley and Gilwyn, they can kind of go around to kind of both performers as well as thieves. That kind of line blurs around, which is really great. Gilwyn, you actually managed to find out a lot, because there's a very, very easy reason why. With this belt and with this story that you guys have constructed, you can basically say, oh, we're looking for Tanuma Breris. My house has to dealings with her, and you are the slave that basically is managing everything. And that immediately cuts through a lot of defenses, because humans aren't threatening. Not at all. So you find out several pieces of information about this artificer by the name of Tanuma. The first thing is some of the things that she's created. Being Arcano spiders, torture weapons, as well as general pretty much every technological advancement this city has seen in recent centuries. Even creating technologies that allow people to record video and things like that, and building on more ancient technology to create newer things. She really is a genius. But you also hear rumors of her being a master of cloning. A very taboo subject even among Drow, to the extent that you hear, and I'm not even sure if you believe this, that she has cloned herself multiple times. But you do also...
Sorry.
Yeah, I imagine that's the reaction Vale gives when you come back with that information. With that information, though, does come that she has multiple bases all over the place, but her core laboratory is actually outside of the city, built into the cavern walls to the west. You don't never get a direct address because no one really knows it, but it is past a area of the fungal forest that has been burnt to the ground via some disaster quite some time ago. It's known as quite a dangerous area because of the various spirits and things that lurk in such a dead place, which is why it's the perfect place to hide a technological laboratory which already will be dealing with quite strange arcana. Now, that's what Mr. Gilwin finds. Riley, you find very similar things. You actually find that she spends quite a lot of time in a theatre nearby. She really enjoys the more childish shows, like fairy tales and things. Other than that, you actually find out that she knows that that this group of individuals is most likely looking for her. Apparently she's been acting extra reclusive recently. Seeing her was quite rare. She would only really leave her laboratories for things that she found really important or really interesting. Particularly strange arcane things happening in the city. And that has been much, much less, to the extent that her slaves have been gathering things for her instead of her manually. Now, what Indira finds out is actually a little bit different. You don't find out much about Tuma. People you talk to in the bars, they're a little more... they're talking to thieves and bards and performers. You're talking to regular, everyday schmoes. You actually end up talking to some deep dwarves, and there's conversations about technology trades between all the four races, core races of the Treaty of the Deep: the usurper elves, the deep dwarves, the deep gnomes, and the mind flayers. And she, of course, is the technology representative for Narashira as a whole. So she's deeply involved in a lot of that, but hasn't gone to a lot of the meetings and things. She just sends things to people. But what would distract Indira much more would be when you find out near the end of the week that, oh, did you hear about those people who sieged the cathedral of the Mad Priestess? They got caught. They're going to be executed at the Garden of Blood. Supposedly, the War Strider is planning an extravagant execution before the Mad Priestess.
Where'd they catch them?
I don't know the specifics, but I'm sure it'll be all over the papers when it's done.
Do they know why these people attacked the priestess?
Oh, I believe it's because they're champions of the surface, of the gods of the sun. That's what people say. You know, heretical mad people.
Yeah, ew.
And like kind of gives like they're crazy like to Vale when he's in the drow disguise. But I'm sure we'll find out much more in the future. But they decided, you know, usually there's like a lot more torture and stuff. But I think everyone in the city needs a nice, good execution.
Yeah,
You know?
this is fantastic news.
Yeah.
Perhaps there will be feasts.
Yeah. So that would be one of the things you find out. If there's anything more you want to do based on that, feel free. I mean, these are the knowledge nuggets that I do give.
The minute that we're alone, that Vale and I are alone, I'll be like, first I'll hug him and be like, oh, scot-free. And then I'll be like, do you have to save them, maybe?
What? No.
Well, if they're people from the surface,
I mean, one.
we can't let them die for us.
I mean, right. So do you remember that time when we ended up in an area that was really heavily populated, but didn't know we were coming?
Yeah, like every week.
Yeah, and we ended up running away on a T-Rex with our tail between our legs, collectively, figuratively speaking, of course. Maybe not so much for Serena. And then now they are saying, ho, 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 we're going to execute these people. One, it is good for their people's morale. There was breaking of the law, a mass response, and they dealt with the issue. Their people are emboldened by their ability to protect themselves. Next up, we are do-gooders. We will rush in to save those people, potentially. No, we won't. We will let them die. As they said, there is less torture than usual. These people are probably already slaves. This is probably going to be a kinder end to their existence than they could have otherwise hoped. They will die, and they will do so for a good cause. Vale obviously says this, hush.
Yeah. I'm assuming you did. It's like an ECW drama where like Supergirl like goes around a corner and is like, I can't believe I'm Supergirl, and there's like people walking right behind, but they can't hear you.
Exactly.
It's exactly one of those.
I can't believe I'm super.
That's what the writing
Sorry,
is
that was
like in the
amazing.
first freaking episodes, to be fair.
So you think it's a ruse?
Yes. Either way, it benefits the drow. As I said, it's good for morale to know that anyone who makes their way down here and breaks the law is punished, caught and punished. They do not want everyone to think that we got away scot-free.
This doesn't sit well with me.
Right. Well, did you see what the Mad Priestess was capable of doing to Riley?
Aye.
Not sure we want to fight her, an honor guard, and the war strider as well.
But maybe there's another way. Maybe there's a diversion we can create, or maybe we could sneak them out of prison. I think that at the very least we should tell the others and see what they think, but I don't like the idea of letting someone innocent die for what I've done.
Yes, I don't like it either. However, they would have died either way. I do not see the sense in putting the others through this burden. This is something we can bear without them knowing.
Okay.
I mean, if we had a really large bomb, I'd say, hey, let's do that. But we don't. It's probably quite suspect to get as well. So, shoot.
Neil always
Regent
wants a
Spade
bomb.
flashbacks.
Neil always wants a bomb.
The last time we did that, we
Bombs
killed
solves
the
a lot
last
of
monarch
problems.
Goldport.
Bombs solve so many problems in D&D. Honestly, that every party should just screw magic, just have an arsenal of explosives with you. Job done.
Fair enough.
So you're gonna go meet back up at the, friend cave? Yeah, that's where I was going with that. You can meet back up end of the evening. All the information that you've got, can start making up plans.
Yeah.
What's up?
Riley would say the artificer knows we're coming. She knows that leaders are being targeted, and she is much more aware of her surroundings. I think all of them probably do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no matter who we go for, it's going to be a difficult target.
Well, we knew this was not going to be an easy task coming down here, and, well, they would have figured it out after we killed the Mad Priestess anyway. It does not change a great deal.
Oh, it definitely does. Them knowing that we're coming after the Mad Priestess is dead is significantly different than them knowing that we're coming and the Mad Priestess is still alive. That's a huge difference.
Oh, you really want to kill this priestess?
I'm just saying it's a huge difference. Do you not agree with that? I just don't think it should be taken lightly that it isn't a difference at all.
I am not suggesting it is not a difference. I am merely saying that we would have reached this state sooner or later where all of our targets were very difficult to hit. The fact that it is one more target that will be difficult to hit is indeed frustrating, but, well.
And what did you guys find out?
Not a huge amount, to be honest. We heard rumors that the Mad Priestess would be away from the cathedral.
Away from the cathedral for what?
The people didn't seem particularly sure. However, I would also suggest that you must think as the Drow would think. Morale in their city has taken a hit. One of their leaders was killed in their very own war camp with no culprits. This is both embarrassing to the military and shameful for the people. If their artificer is killed, their artificer is a recluse already. Who will know? They would dedicate more resources to protecting a highly public figure such as the Mad Priestess. Also, I'd intended not to tell you, but it might work to our benefit. We heard tell that the culprits behind the siege of the cathedral are going to be executed.
No.
The War Strider is preparing an elaborate execution, and the Mad Priestess will also be there. So there will be two leaders in one place. So you can bet there will be a hell of a lot of guards there. However, if we were to time this right, there would be more people, more guards busy at this ceremony. They will surely attempt to make some pomp out of it. It would be the perfect time to go and make a disturbance somewhere remote.
As much as it pains me, it's true. Yeah, I understand. We should not go after these two who are like in our hands because realistically we're in theirs. I get it.
Indeed. It may well be, as I mentioned to Indira, that this could be a trap meant to lure us in. Two targets in one place and innocents' lives on the stakes.
It seems unlikely that they truly believe they have us at the very least. Their leaders are not likely such fools.
Why else would they have plastered the wanted posters everywhere?
Well, even when we think we have the upper hand, we very rarely do. I say.
Yes.
Did you find anything else specific, Gil?
Yes. Yeah. A few
It's
things.
just before Gilwyn starts talking one of the followers here, that male drow with a limp, is like, "There's someone outside asking for Mr. Gilwin. 2 people. Specifically, Mr. Gilwin.
By
It's
name.
okay. It's okay.
By name, yes."
I'm Mr. Gallagher, so they might have the wrong person.
Have you told?
No.
Let me go and have a look.
Okay.
Wait here.
I would also go.
Okay.
Vale's gonna stealth. He doesn't want it to be like obvious. Like, I'm popping out. Who are you?
Oh.
Okay, I'm going.
You
Indira
can stealth-
wants to be obvious.
And Indira
and
can be
scary.
the person who comes out. That's absolutely
I'm
cool.
gonna cast a spell. I'm gonna look like Gil.
Ooh!
Just in case something gets hairy, they don't know which one's
Gil
the real
is
one.
hairy.
Things got a lot less hairy when you became Gil. I'm kidding.
You go ahead and give me
roll
your
stealth.
stealth. Yeah. So you step out, and outside is Hator, the person that I don't believe any of you would have given your real names. I don't know what your fake names are aside from Vale's. But that's fine, because, in that kind of life, it is fine. He's doing the kind of thing he's leaning against, because you're kind of in a little bit of an alcove, this shop is. He's eating some kind of fruit with a knife, as people always do when they're good guys. And beside him is another male, another male drow, with short cut hair, very messy, quite a few scars, wearing a really big backpack. That even though he's standing mostly still, the backpack is jangling and constantly making a noise, kind of like wind chimes and things.
The bomb delivery has arrived.
He smells
Your
like sulfur.
payload.
And when fake Gilwin and Indira step out, this guy's eyes light up. And is like, "Is this the Gilwin?" And Hathor's like, "Yes." You gotta act cool in these kind of things. "Yes." "Hey." No, I wanna see a Gilwin impression here.
Was that?
Boy! I'm kidding. Just
That's
kidding.
all we needed. And deep in my heart. Is everything is all good? This is Hathor talking to you? Who's your your
Hathor.
contact?
What? I would say, what's going on, Hathor?
I don't know necessarily what you and your friends are doing, but I think you want to be with the good guys. This guy is with the good guys. Can we talk somewhere a little less, like, literally out in public?
She gives a look around the corner, look over, looks in Vale's direction, shakes her head kind of, and steps back into where.
Yeah, you have the shop
building.
front.
Yeah.
He walks in, and then the other drow walks in with the jangling backpack that kind of needs to angle through the doors less than gracefully.
I'm gonna hide in the cardboard box.
Give me a stealth check.
Give me a snake check.
Yeah.
Stealth check.
Does this
No,
person
just-
look like Russell from Up?
There's a little rustle.
Okay, fair enough.
If that helps your imagery
No,
in
it
your
does,
mind.
just
Yeah, he's definitely got that kind of thing. He's holding the straps of the backpack. He's got a cheery smile on his face. Hathor kind of looks around and kind of fiddles with the potions, because it's like a potion shop plus spa, because really in this kind of society they mix. And it says, I noticed the kind of things you're asking about. He's with the Weavers of Cloth. The Weavers of the Cloth, they're a bunch of escaped slaves. And people on the side of freeing those. who are unjustly kept by the high and mighty drow who run this place. If you're into that kind of thing, I kind of think you are, then his people could help your people. By the way.
Rip in peace, by the way.
Gilwin, no.
He got snapped!
Yeah, he was just about to make that joke.
I don't feel so
Congratulations,
good,
Dean.
Mr.
You now
Vale.
get to play. You now get to play Riley pretending to be Gil.
Hello, mate.
He's
Ooh.
back.
Oh,
Hey.
He's not back.
he's
I
not
lied.
back. False.
I got baited.
If anyone else in the room wants to talk, I mean, Indira's there.
I think Vale would like just walk through the door behind them, and then mimicking Hattori, just like lean against the wall, arms crossed.
Yeah. He gives you the up nod.
Yeah, it's like we both can tell, like, don't want to fight him in a 1v1 combat.
In the meantime, the other guy's like holds out his hand to fake Gilwin. It's like, my name is Cover Freebrood. And will whether a handshake is given or not, both hands, the backpack jingles and jangles with a kind of musical noise, actually.
That Cava.
Yeah, Cava. C-A-V-A. Freebrood.
He's a cheap, bubbly.
And gives a big smile to fake Gilwin. The Weavers of the Cloth would be... we're only a small group, but we would... if you're on the side of honor and justice and freeing the oppressed, then there's a lot of oppressed that need freeing.
And then she just like takes a step to the side, coming out of character, becoming herself again. Gil, this one's for you.
He smiles wider. Hattori just kind of like crosses his arms tighter, but Kava smiles wider and actually claps. It's like, illusions! Oh, you're an illusionist!
I emerge from my hiding place and I'm like, hello.
And such stealth!
This really tall human, just like in a basket.
Just a lampshade on my head.
God.
I trust that you are actually Gilwin, unless this is another illusion meant to give me a false sense of security. It's
really
working.
Me. It's really me.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Kava Freebrood.
Hi. Nice to meet you, Gil and Gallagher.
Shit. Are you interested? Because we have a we would be happy to have a lot of you. We're not sure if you're actually the people who broke out of the cathedral or not, but we have like a running theory that you actually are.
Sorry if I missed it. How do you know me?
Oh, well, you were asking a lot of interesting questions, and Hathor is a friend of the group, and then I cast magic to look at you from afar.
Yes, we should get something to stop that. That is very bad.
I would point to him and be like, we can't let this guy leave.
But he wants to free slaves.
All the more reason to keep him with us, in my eyes, but we can't let this guy leave.
Oh!
He knows who you are.
You
Right,
make way
yes,
more... Okay.
but
Sure.
but note that he arrived and not a battalion of soldiers. Now, I am all for being suspicious, but that is a little bit racist.
Come on.
I said it.
Hathor says, the Ronin who's in charge of the Weavers of the Cloth is no friend of the Daimau's empire.
We've heard of the Ronin. This is the group.
Ronin is a caste. It's not a group. She is a
Caste
Ronin.
is just another word for a group. However, it is dictated in a different manner to a group.
Yeah, but like if you get two Ronin in a room together, they're gonna fight each other until one of them ends up with all the alcohol in the room. Usually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ronin are samurai who broke their vows, cast out. So they're usually shit and drunk. But Hinonyo is proud. She's a good person. When cast out, she took to freeing slaves. Because you can't do that as a samurai.
Okay. Say we were these people that you think we are. What then?
I mean, I've already said I'm Gilwyn.
Shh.
Well, if your plan, and this is what I think your plan is to overthrow the leadership of Narushiro, then we would be very happy to help. That's kind of what we want to do as well.
I'm just gonna insight that real quick.
Yeah.
Insight this boy.
He's telling the truth. He's a bit naive, a bit optimistic, but also it comes with something that you would have seen quite often, actually, the enthusiasm of someone who was a slave and seemingly had a very, very hard time beforehand, and now actually has freedom. So it kind of all comes together to this kind of very cheery but naive thing, and he's telling the truth. And he seems trustworthy, if not stupid.
Okay. And where is this group of yours located?
Oh, well, really anywhere we can hide. We have to move quite often. But I can lead you.
Would you give us a moment to confer?
Yeah.
Group huddle. We 100% huddle in.
Yeah, no, for sure. I liked the acknowledgement of it, honestly.
Tom?
Called the huddle.
It seems fortuitous, at the very least, that help literally comes knocking.
He seems like he wants to help, and he seems like he's telling the truth. To me.
Yeah. But how...
Very suspicious. First the lucky break with the slaves. Now this. We don't have this kind of luck.
I have this kind of luck. I don't know whether you
Indira
know.
would just put her hand on your forehead and like kind of push your head a little bit.
I don't know whether you noticed.
Have this kind of luck.
I don't think you noticed, but a Drider caught me down there. My god literally intervened. This is his will, that this is our duty. Luck doesn't always have to come from sheer luck. Sometimes what we view as luck is divine providence.
Okay, well, we're at least going to ask these guys how we can stop people from tracking us the way
Right.
that he did.
Yes, definitely. I agree. If he was capable of doing it, God knows how many drow are capable of doing it. I mean, bad drow. Serena, you've been unusually quiet.
I do not really. How do I put this? Unlike you all, I am relatively comfortable among my followers. but I do not expect that my opinion will carry much weight here anyway. You all are... This offer is more your line, your sort of speed, than what I can offer as protection in this place. And this is ultimately something that you wish to do, Vale. So I am willing to step back on this, although I will miss my own followers.
The protection this place offers is good, perhaps unmatched. These people have to move relatively often, he says. However, these people here are not capable of being called a Ronin, that was once a samurai, or capable of tracking Gilwyn via magic.
They cannot offer us much assistance beyond a place to hide. That is correct. No, I do not dislike... I do not think the idea is a bad one. You will just have to accept that my preferences lie here, even if rationality tells me otherwise. It has been far too long since I've been among my own people.
Well, if nothing else, when shit hits the fan, we may end up having to come back here again.
Quite, but let us hope we do not have to retreat in such a manner again. But no, you are welcome to accept this offer. It offers little but benefits that I can see, as long as this person is trustworthy. And from what I can see, he is too naive to be anything but. You just have to make sure not to let him into somewhere where he could be plied with drinks.
Yeah,
Phil?
we can't let him leave.
What is the alternative?
Keep him
Where?
Him.
We
here?
follow him to this group. We keep an eye on him as much as other people. I do not believe that one who is so clearly against the Drow and clearly has developed an affection for us would willingly betray us. You just have to make sure that he does not do so unwillingly.
Is there some sort of magic that we can put on him to stow him away until we're in the clear?
None that I can currently use.
Can we make him forget?
Is
No.
it a lack of trust?
Yes.
You are aware that he belongs to an illegal organization. By turning us over, he himself would also be executed.
He knows things. He can say these things. People can overhear these things. I don't like it. I don't like any of this.
Kava, how long has your group existed?
Oh, well, 40 seasons?
Okay, and how long have you been part of it?
That is a good question. 8 seasons.
See? 8 seasons, and they still exist.
Usually things get bad around the 7th season, though. Just saying.
Yeah, it was quite shaky, but I invented a device that managed to. You're not interested. Okay.
The other thing is that if he is capable of such magics as to locate us, and by the sounds of it, he invents things, he might be able to aid us in that way as well. And who knows what other things this group of his has.
When you say that, Riley would quickly turn to him. Can you locate anyone?
I need something from their body or their name.
Okay.
Or an object that has, like, deep, personal, significant aspect.
And
I can
what
actually...
villains do you have?
Oh, his name.
Yeah, you see, that's why at first I was a little bit weirded out, because I thought like you had something he owns, but then you said his name afterwards, and I was a little bit less weirded out.
I have not stolen his undergarments or anything like that, no.
No, that would be
No one
weird.
suggested
That would be
it, but now I'm
strange.
kind of thinking you did.
I mean, if you could, then you could use the spells on him.
Well,
Does the name you know have to be the name that they were first given, or can it be
Oh.
one they are known by?
You know, that's actually quite a controversial subject amongst divinationists. The rules are a little bit wibbly wobbly.
Serena's just looking on with a deadpan look.
Because you see, it depends on which name is bound to the soul, but that name can change over time if you believe yourself to be that strange, the new name. It's complicated. I don't ask the gods, right? If they would reply, it wouldn't. It would be a waste of time. I could show you, and he starts like reaching into parts of the backpack, and like a tambourine falls out.
Maybe later. I think we would all love to see that later.
Okay, yeah, I'll be over here.
I think we go with him.
yeah.
If nothing
agree.
else, if the cover gets blown over there, then we have somewhere to fall back to here. There is no sense in burning your safest candle for the longest.
Yeah, exactly the correct phrase to use.
There's no sense in using a lantern when you already have a torch lit. Right? Because the lantern guards from the flame. So you
That was a lot more impressive than your first attempt. I will
Yes.
give you that.
all right.
Well,
Sometimes it takes me a little while. This isn't my native language, you know.
It might be nice just to find out where all of these people are.
We need more useful people. They have been living here and active for 40 seasons. As Kafa says, they are going to know more about where these people are, more than just my little book, more than what we can find out in a pub.
I agree. We should act quickly.
Let us go.
I
Okay.
turn to the guy. Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are you bringing us?
We will bring back this after a few moments as we take a quick little break.
Just for the sake, in the huddle, I would regurgitate the information regarding Tanuma
Yeah.
and the
Same.
location
And
and
the clones.
Weapons,
And the clones,
healing,
yeah.
and or well,
Yeah, the clones scare me.
I would regurgitate. Oh, no.
Okay, we're out of here.
Gilwin.
You're on the bench.